Hi, I'm Rania, founder of R2R Coaching. I am a relationship coach, a Reiki practitioner. I practice energy healing in several modalities. I've been a blogger for a few years now and soon to be published writer. But I do these videos right here on my channel in order to educate about several relationship topics. The series that I've invested a lot of my time and effort in is this series of narcissism. It seems to be that in this day and age, everyone is experiencing a narcissist in their life. Or maybe you've already been subjected to narcissistic abuse, but never knew how to label it, never knew what was really going on. But now, because there is more knowledge, we're able to label it. We're able to understand the people that we end up in relations with, whether it be partnerships, or their family members, or their co-workers, or their friends. Narcissism is out there and it's real. And the more you educate yourself about how to handle them, how to cope being in such relationships, better yet, learn how to escape the relationship and leave it behind, and then heal from it. This is what I'm here to do. This is why all of my videos are going to be mostly intense. Of course, I'm going to try and make it humorous, but there's not much humor in narcissism and being abused. Please do subscribe to my channel. Share them with your friends. Share them with someone who needs to hear the message that I am putting out there. I put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of work into it because I want to help others who don't have the knowledge. Because once upon a time, I didn't have the knowledge. I wasn't very well educated. Hell, I didn't even know what narcissism was just a few years ago. But now I can tell you, I know a lot more, and thank God that I do, because it's helping me a great deal. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing.
Hello, and once again, welcome to my channel. In today's video, the topic of discussion is, how is a narcissist triggered? And I'm also going to be discussing the consequences of their reaction on you, the person who is being subjected to this type of behavior. So I've compiled my notes and I'm going to be referring to it mainly in this video so that I don't forget what I'm speaking to you. So bear with me and let's talk about it. So the narcissist is usually triggered, and that's how they react to you, okay? That's the way they are. They're always reacting. They're in reactive mode all the time. They don't understand what it means to respond. They just react. They react to life, they react to you, they react to circumstances. They're just in a constant reaction. So you react when you are triggered. So there are two categories. Either they are triggered by you trigger them, or they trigger themselves, and I'll explain how. So let's talk about when they are triggered by you. Sometimes you are intentionally triggering them, and sometimes you are unintentionally triggering them. Let's talk about the unintentional. Unintentionally, you're triggering them just by being you. They are reacting to you. They project, deflect, and blame shift because that's all they know how to do to survive. They can't be confronted with their mistakes or their inability to be perfect. Although they claim that they're not perfect, but deep down, they can't accept that they aren't. And that's why they never take responsibility for their actions. And it's always your fault, or it's always someone else's fault. So you'll end up at the receiving end of the gaslighting and the manipulating, and you won't even know how it got to the point that it got to from sometimes something so simple. A conversation with a narcissist always ends up being into a big deal. It escalates so far, and And it doesn't matter what it was about. So don't blame yourself. The only thing you could have done differently is just not be there. So nothing else you could have said or done differently. Your mere existence in their life, which is the whole purpose of why you're in the narcissist's life, is to provide them with narcissistic supply in order for them to feel good about themselves. Why? Because they're insecure. They're insecure, they know they're not good enough, but they deny this fact to themselves, so they have to put you down in order to make themselves feel better about themselves. And they do this with people on the outside as well, but it's subtly done, and the abuse level is not the same as when it's done with you, their victim, usually their partner. The other point is the intentional triggering, and victims tend to get to the point of intentional triggering when you're onto them, when you're fed up of their abuse and you've figured out who they are by now. You're waiting for the opportunity for them to be in a position where you could rub it in their face or add salt to injury. Let me say a few examples about that. So when something goes wrong for them, or when they lose something, break something, or someone tells them something that puts them into their place, or they don't like that, and of course you're rejoicing because you're like, yes, finally somebody put them in their place, something you haven't been able to do. Even worse examples, let's say they lose their job or get into a car accident, God forbid. Of course, we don't want to wish anything bad on anyone, but the narcissist has been making you living in hell. So you don't recognize who you've become. You're cursing the day you met them. You're cursing at them out of your frustration. And sometimes you're, without realizing, you're wishing bad things to happen on them. And I'm not excusing that. It's bad. It's not good. But that's what people who have been abused for so long reach to. That's why I say you lose yourself. You don't recognize who you are, but it's not you. This was never you. And believe me that once you have left that relationship and that toxic environment, you'll go back to being the best version of yourself, the new and improved you, the good person that you know you are. So yeah, remember that you were in survival mode for the longest time. Even you were triggering them to release your pent-up resentment and anger. However, that way you did it. Just understand that it was as a result of their abuse to you. But that's what their intention was to begin with, is to actually bring you down from the goodness level that you're at, because they knew when they first met you is that you're way better than them. That's why they mirrored you. They presented some of your greatest qualities as if they're the one that had it, right? And you fell in love with that. You fell in love with yourself, really, because they were studying you, figuring out who you are, with all the goodness that you are, and they started to mirror back that which you are. So you thought you've met your soulmate, right? You thought, wow, this is amazing. You found the person that you've been looking for all your life. Meanwhile, they were just mirroring back at you who you are. So what they do is that they break you. They try to destroy you, bring you down to your knees, because you have to be less than them, because they have to be better than you. You ask yourself why? That's the sickness in them. How can you explain someone who is emotionally and mentally unstable and sick in the head? There is no logical explanation to it. I know you're going to say, but why? Why would they do that? Because they're sick. You ask a serial killer, why do you kill? Do they have an answer for you? A logical explanation? Talk to a sociopath. Are they going to admit to you that they're a sociopath and the reasons behind why they're being a sociopath or a psychopath, whatever? All those personality disorders. Narcissistic personality disorder is no different. There is no logical explanation behind what they do. But what I can tell you is that everything triggers them. You trigger them. I covered the unintentionally, just by you being you, they react to you. And I've covered the intentionally, in which you sometimes poke at them, or verbally you say things, or you behave in such a way that annoys them, upsets them. And normally they're being triggered by you not being obedient to them, not being under their full control. That's what upsets them. So in a way, you're intentionally triggering them by not succumbing to their demands. But I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and do that so you don't trigger them. No, you need to stand up to yourself, and you need to continue not succumbing to their needs and demands and not being under their control. That definitely, I continue to encourage you to do that. But of course, I'm not telling you to fight or put yourself in a harmful situation where you confront them and then you get hurt physically. Obviously, I'm not encouraging you to do that. The triggering part, it's out of your hands. It's if you standing up to yourself, triggering them, there's nothing you can do about it. But there are ways you can try your best not to trigger them, and those things I can share with you in a future video. So yeah, to just wrap up this point, the narcissist's intention, after you figured them out anyways, and after the gaslighting and the devaluation phase have begun already, or they have no use to you, or they're ready to discard you and on to the next one, they wanna create you into a monster, and that they want to claim in front of other people that they're defending themselves against your craziness. You're the one that's crazy. They are your victim. You are the villain in the story. That's what they're going to be trying to portray anyways. But you know the truth. Only you know the truth. Okay, next point is when the narcissist is triggered by themselves. Sounds funny, right? Okay, examples of how in various day-to-day situations the narcissists trigger themselves to behave selfishly and in more narcissistic ways than anything, projecting their jealousy, insecurity, and unrealistic expectation of you. In other words, it is self-inflicted by their lack of emotional intelligence and their sick need for control and entitlement. And I briefly said that earlier. I'm going to say a few examples that either I've personally experienced or stories from my clients who've shared with me. Some of them may make you laugh, and some of them may make you shake your head. But anyways, let me share them with you. Example 1. When they see you happy, let's say you were laughing and enjoying a conversation with someone on the phone, that gets them so jealous. They won't let you stay in that happy place. They will do anything to ruin your mood. You can't be happy unless it's with them and because of them. Anything else is not permitted. Example number 2. Say you come back home from being out, whether visiting your family, your friends, or even just coming back from work. If you are in a good mood and you're expressing it, count on this. The night will not end until your good mood is ruined. Your happiness will be sucked out. They will make sure of that. Example number 3. You could be cooking in the kitchen, cleaning the floor, folding the laundry, and if you're dancing to some music, or behold, you're happy. They will be interrupting you in very subtle ways. They will try to destroy the calm and happy zone you're in as you do your chores. Because how dare you be happy while they are alone and miserable? They must bring you down to their misery. Because for the majority of their time, they're miserable. They are always finding something to complain about. It's in their blood. They can't help it. They will stare you down with their piercing eyes while you wonder, what is behind that look? Or do I want to even find out? You don't. Example number 4. They will accuse you of things you didn't do. Just because. Why not? They love to do that. Stir the pot a bit and see what comes out of it. From fighting over small things to big things, maybe you react and then they are back in business. Back to getting the guns out. It's the way they like to pass their time. Live entertainment. Example number 5. They make decisions and don't involve you in it. And when you voice your concern, back to them being in business, they actually don't see anything wrong in what they've done. They just don't see it. Example number 6. They will decide to leave the house all of a sudden to go run an errand. They're very secretive about where they go and with whom. At times, they will flip it around and accuse you for not being trusting. And perhaps it's because you're the one that's doing something wrong behind their back. That's why you're paranoid. Not that it's actually disrespectful to not let you know that they are meeting a friend for a beer or that they needed to get something from the store. They won't explain. They will just blame you and make you feel guilty. And, of course, they're going to make you crazy. Oh yeah, and you're exaggerating. It's not true what they're saying. They only did it once before. Meanwhile, it's like the 5th time they did it this week. But who's counting? Example number 7, and it's the last one. They will get upset when you make plans to go and do something for yourself. How dare you go to yoga class and enjoy yourself? When are you going to make time to spend it with them? Meanwhile, you're in each other's face all day long, fighting about every little thing. Even the time away for you to breathe, even that you have to take permission to do so. Or fight about it. And they wonder why you don't want to be around them. So, yeah, these are some of the examples that might trigger the narcissist. And what you'll end up getting is rage, anger, violence, just a simple tantrum, but the tantrums are nowhere near simple. Hopefully I've covered a lot and I've explained a bit about how the narcissist is being triggered, whether it be you're triggering them just by you being you, by you existing around them, or by you also in the sense where you're intentionally triggering them by saying certain things or reacting in a certain way because you just can't help yourself because you're fed up of their abuse. And the other thing is them self-inflicting it by the way they think, their thought process. So if they're, one of the examples that I mentioned earlier is, if you're minding your own business, doing your own thing, being happy, cleaning, listening to music, dancing, and they're so miserable to the point that they have to come and interrupt you and start complaining about something so they can bring you down. If you come from being out somewhere and you're in a good mood and they gotta greet you with the, how was your day? Did you have fun? You know, that tone of voice in which it's like they're so upset that you had fun. And then if you dare tell them that you had fun, oh my God, it's the end of the world. How dare you have fun when they were sitting there being miserable? Don't be miserable then. Go enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. Why are you being miserable? But no, that's their choice. They choose to be miserable. Even when they're supposed to be doing something fun, they're miserable. Do you want to know how many times I've been on fun trips with my ex-narc in which it had to begin with a fight for no reason whatsoever? Oh, we're late. We should have left 5 minutes ago. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. We left 5 minutes later, and then a fight breaks out. Or they fight over, like, he forgot something in the house. He's gonna go back and he's getting all frustrated because he forgot to get something from the house. So then go get it. Why is it necessary to get so upset over it? You see how they're triggering themselves? This is a funny one. This is a funny one. We're going somewhere. I'm in the passenger seat. They're gonna be driving. He's getting into the car. He hits his head at the door frame. And he got so upset at the door frame. He's getting upset at the car. He's getting upset at the door frame. How dare the door frame be in the way of his head and hit his head? Not that he hit his head. So instead of saying, ouch, I hit my head. No. I'm not even going to say what was said and what was done, but that's the reaction. That's the reaction of a narcissist. They get angry when anything goes wrong around them. They're triggered. They're triggered by the simplest things. Anyway, that was not prepared or written. That just came from my mind here and I wanted to share. So hopefully I've given you a laugh, although it is no laughing matter, because when you are living it, it is definitely not a laughing matter. You are very tense, experiencing these tantrums, these triggers that are happening, and the reactions that they are doing. It keeps you in fight or flight mode. Really, you're at this point walking around eggshells. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do, so you shut your mouth, hoping for it to pass, hoping for that moment to just pass, hoping for them to cool off. And they do eventually. They do cool off. But you know what's crazy? Is that they behave like nothing happened. As if nothing happened. Normal people are gonna gradually get over something that upset them. No, they're like this. I can't snap my finger. But yeah, like instant. It'll be for a while. It would be all upset and whatever, the rage. And then when you just leave them to let them cool off, they'll cool off. And then the next thing that comes out of their mouth is like, oh, and I'm like, what the? How did it went from this to extreme? Anyway, I can go on and on. I have lots of examples. Some of them are going to make you laugh, and some of them are going to make you, like I say, go, what the? Right? But anyway, let me end it here. And until next time, until our next topic that may not be as funny, take care of yourselves. Ciao, ciao.
I hope you liked this video. Please do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you for watching.